Good morning, dear students. Welcome to our next session and also the next module, the second module, water pollution. Hope you all learned the first module about the environment, this atmosphere, the environmental components and also the composition of atmosphere. It was a very small chapter and you have to study that chapter very thoroughly. So then going to the next module, that is water pollution. See, as you know, this water, it is the most important natural resource, isn't it? Water is the most important natural resource. That is the very first point to be stated. And also see, 70% of our body weight, 70% of human body weight, it constitutes water, isn't it? 70% constitutes water. Then and also some of the purpose of water or the importance of water, that is, it is used for irrigation. These are very general points, isn't it? Water, the uses of water, used for irrigation, then used for industrial purposes, isn't it? Then domestic needs, then sanitation, then shipping, then disposal of waste, etc. So for many purposes this water, it is used, isn't it? So these are some of the introductory part of this chapter, the uses of water. And also what about earth surface? The percentage, 80% of the earth surface, it is covered with water. Okay, 80% of earth surface is covered by water. And also a very small percentage of this 80%, it is used for this consumption, that is for domestic as well as industrial consumption. Okay, so these are some of the important points. Water is an important natural resource and also 70% of our body weight, it constitutes this water. Then uses of water, it is used for irrigation, then industrial purposes, domestic needs, sanitation, shipping as well as waste disposal. Then total of the 80% of the total earth surface, it is covered by water. Okay, then the next is regarding the water pollution. How water gets polluted. Okay, how water gets polluted, that is the second part. That is you have to study in detail how water gets polluted. Usually this water, it is polluted as a result of the increasing industrialization. Two main reasons are there. The first one, that is the increasing industrialization or the gradual development of factories as well as industries. The waste from the industries, they will be dumped to the nearby water bodies, isn't it? Dumped into seas or rivers or whatever water bodies are there, they will be dumping the waste materials to this water bodies. As a result, water gets polluted. So that is the first reason for this water pollution, increasing industrialization. And also the second reason for water pollution is that it is population explosion. Okay, the increase in population also leads to water pollution. So these are the two major reasons for water pollution. Okay, and then you have to study the definition for the term water pollution. Okay, definition for water pollution. See, in your textbook, 3 major definitions are given. So first definition, this water pollution, it can be defined as any change in physical, chemical and biological properties. Any change in physical, chemical as well as biological properties of water due to contamination of foreign substances. If a foreign body is in water, what happens? The water will be contaminated due to the presence of that substance. Okay, due to the contamination with any foreign substance. Due to the contamination with any foreign substance. So any change in physical, chemical or biological properties as a result of the contamination with any foreign bodies, or due to the presence of the foreign bodies, if the any physical change is there, or any chemical change is there, or any biological change is there in the case of water, we can call it as, we can say that the water is polluted. Okay, so due to the presence of any foreign bodies, if any changes occur in the constitution of water, then water is polluted. Then another definition given in your textbook is that, the second definition, that is alternation in, again almost a similar definition, or alternation in physical, chemical as well as biological properties, which will be causing harmful effects on human as well as biological living organisms. Okay, that is any change in alternation means the change in physical, chemical as well as biological properties. It will be leading to, or it will be affecting, it will be badly affecting human as well as the biological species present in the water bodies. Okay, that is the second definition for water. Okay, then the third definition, the deterioration means the decrease. Okay, the deterioration in the physical, chemical as well as the biological characteristics as a result of the human activities. That is the third definition. Due to human activities, some deterioration in the physical, chemical as well as the biological properties of water. Okay, so these are the three definitions for water pollution. You have to study the three definitions also. Sometimes it may be asked for B part question. Okay, that is for 2 marks it will be asked. So the definitions you should study well. Then the next is the signs of water pollution. As all you know, what are the signs of water pollution? The first one, it will be the bad taste, isn't it? Bad taste of the water. Then the second one, the smell, isn't it? Bad smell. The offensive odors or the bad smell. Offensive odors or bad smell, that is the second sign that water is polluted. Then the third one, sometimes you have seen in water bodies, the aquatic plants are there. So much aquatic plants are there in water bodies, isn't it? So that is another important point to be noted, that the water is polluted there. So this uncontrolled growth of, the third one, that is the uncontrolled growth of this aquatic weeds. Aquatic weeds in water bodies. Okay, then the fourth one, the decrease in the amount of fish or the number of fishes in water bodies. That also it is a sign of water pollution. Then the fifth point, that is the floating of oil or grease on the surface of water. Floating of oil or grease on the surface of water. So these are some of the important signs of water pollution. So the signs are bad taste, offensive odors, then uncontrolled growth of aquatic weeds, then decrease in the amount of fish or aquatic living organisms, then the floating of oil or grease on the surface of water. So these are some of the important signs of water pollution. Then the next is sources of water pollution. Sources of water pollution. So the this sources of water pollution, it can be asked for an essay part. Okay, so the important sources of water pollution are, the first one, that is the sewage and other oxygen demanding waste. Sewage and other oxygen demanding waste. Sewage and other oxygen demanding waste. See, normally we are measuring the quality of water. Okay, we are measuring the quality of water in terms of dissolved oxygen. Okay, dissolved oxygen, that is a water quality parameter. Water quality parameter. That is, by measuring the amount of oxygen dissolved in a particular water body, we can know whether a water is polluted or not. Okay, so that is what is called as the dissolved oxygen. So dissolved oxygen, it is a water quality parameter, and also dissolved oxygen means it is the amount of oxygen present in that water body. Okay, that is called as the dissolved oxygen. And also normally this optimum level of this dissolved oxygen, it is about 4 to 6 milligram per liter. Okay, so for an unpolluted water body, the dissolved oxygen content will be 4 to 6 milligram per liter. So if it is less than this, if the value it is less than 4, that means the dissolved oxygen is, if the dissolved oxygen is less than 4, that means the water is polluted. Okay, so below this 4 means the water is polluted. Okay, otherwise it will be, the water will not be contaminated or the water will not be polluted. So the major water quality parameter, that is the dissolved oxygen content. So low dissolved oxygen, usually dissolved oxygen, it is denoted by DO. Okay, so low dissolved oxygen means the water is polluted. Low dissolved oxygen means the water is polluted. So this is the 4 to 6 milligram per liter. It is the optimal value for dissolved oxygen. Okay, low dissolved oxygen means the water is polluted. See, normally if the water, if the DO level, it is below, what happens, the water is polluted. And also see, sometimes if normally the organic matter present in a water body, see, if a water body has got some organic matter, it needs the bacteria present there, it needs some oxygen to decay or to decompose this organic matter. Okay, the bacteria will be, for the bacterial decay, it requires some amount of oxygen. If only oxygen is there, this organic matter will be decomposed, or this organic matter will be decomposed. Otherwise, the bacteria cannot decompose this organic matter. So if in a water body, if sufficient amount of oxygen is there, this organic matter which is present in the water body, it can be decomposed or decayed. Okay, so if the water body does not have a particular amount of oxygen content, that is, if it is less than 4, then that means the bacteria present in the water body, it can't decompose this organic matter. Okay, so that is the first point to be noted. So for the decomposition of organic matter, certain amount of oxygen will be required by the bacteria. Okay, certain amount of oxygen will be required so that the bacteria can do this decomposition process. Okay, and also the second point is that along with the organic matter, this sewage and oxygen demanding waste. What do you mean by oxygen demanding waste? That is, such substances, these waste, it will be needing, it will require some amount of oxygen for its decomposition. Okay, so what happens is that if a very small amount of waste is present or organic matter is present in the water body, and what happens is that if sufficient amount of oxygen or the dissolved oxygen content is, it is up to the optimal value, that is 4 to 6 milligram per liter, what happens, this organic matter, it can be decomposed. No problem will be there for the decomposition there, if sufficient amount of oxygen it will be there. So what happens is that this bacteria will be decomposing this organic matter. Okay, the organic matter will be decomposed by the bacteria in presence of the sufficient amount of dissolved oxygen. This organic matter, it will be converted to carbon dioxide and water. Okay, carbon dioxide means it is a gas, so it can be escaped into the atmosphere. So no problem, the organic matter will be converted to carbon dioxide and water. If the organic matter present in the water quantity is small, that means if sufficient amount of oxygen or if sufficient amount of dissolved oxygen is present in that particular water body, then what happens, the bacteria can decompose the organic matter to carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so carbon dioxide, it can't remain in water, it will be escaping since it is a gas. Okay, so no problem, the process will be going on. See, suppose if the organic content present in the water body, it is very large, if so much waste materials or organic matter are there, so much sewage waste or oxygen demanding waste are dumped into the water bodies, what happens? The amount of oxygen present in that water body will not be sufficient for the bacteria to decompose. Okay, so the oxygen content will not be sufficient for the bacteria to decompose these organic matter. So at that point, what happens is that these waste, it will not be oxidized properly. Okay, see here, in the presence of oxygen means in chemistry we are saying that the reaction, it is an oxidation process. Okay, so here the organic matter is oxidized. If sufficient amount of oxygen is there, what happens? The organic matter, it will be oxidized to carbon dioxide and water. See, two cases are there. If sufficient oxygen are present in that particular water body, what happens is that this in the organic matter, carbon will be there, isn't it? This carbon, C for carbon, okay, this carbon, it will be converted to, or it will be oxidized to carbon dioxide. Okay, CO2 means it is carbon dioxide. Carbon will be converted to carbon dioxide. And also sulfur. See, organic compounds, it will be having all these elements. Carbon will be there, sulfur will be there, nitrogen, then phosphorus will be there. So all these elements will be present in the organic matter normally. So if sufficient oxygen is present in the water body, what happens is that this carbon will be oxidized to carbon dioxide by the bacterial action. Then sulfur, it will be converted to sulfates. The formula is SO4 2-. This is sulfate. Okay, sulfate, SO4 2-. So sulfur will be converted to sulfates. Then nitrogen will be converted to ammonia. NH3 is ammonia. Nitrogen will be converted to ammonia. And also nitrogen, it can be converted to nitrates. Okay, nitrates. The formula is NO3-. Nitrates is NO3-. Then phosphorus, it will be converted to phosphates, PO4 3-. So this is the first case. If sufficient oxygen is present in the water body, we can say that carbon will be converted to carbon dioxide due to the bacterial action. All these processes are going on. Then sulfur will be converted to sulfates, SO4 2-. Nitrogen will be converted to ammonia and also nitrates, NO3-. Phosphorus will be converted to phosphates. See, this is the first case if sufficient oxygen is there. Then again in the second case, if there is insufficient oxygen or the dissolved oxygen content is not sufficient for the organic matter to decompose. Okay, or we can say that so much organic waste or sewage or oxygen demanding waste are dumped to the water bodies. What happens? This oxidation will not be taking place in such a manner. That means a partial oxidation will be taking place. So this compounds, all these compounds, these are comparatively not so harmful compounds. Okay, so what happens is that normally if sufficient oxygen is not there, this will be converted to some other compounds which will be having very high offensive smell. That is, we can't smell that particular water body. Such a bad smell will be occurring to that particular water bodies. Okay, so in that case, if insufficient oxygen is there, see, carbon, it will be converted to methane, CH4. Okay, CH4 is methane. Carbon will be converting to methane. Then the next one, see, sulfur, here it is converted to sulfate if sufficient oxygen is there. But here sulfur, it will be converted to hydrogen sulfide, H2S. Sometimes you all know the smell of sulfur, hydrogen sulfide that is coming from our lab. See, this H2S, hydrogen sulfide, this is hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide. This hydrogen sulfide, it has got the smell of rotten eggs. Hydrogen sulfide has got a smell of rotten eggs. It has got such an offensive smell. Okay. Then coming to the next element, that is nitrogen. It will be converted to, nitrogen will be converted to amines. Okay. Nitrogen, it will be converted to amines, that is compounds with NH2 group. So this amines, it has got a fishy smell. Fishy smell. It is also an offensive smell, isn't it? Then the next one, this phosphorus here it is converted to phosphate, but if insufficient oxygen is there, this phosphorus it will be converted to phosphine, that is pH3, phosphine. PHOSPHINE, phosphine. So this phosphine, it has got a wormy odor. See the difference between the two cases? If sufficient oxygen is there, no problem. But if insufficient oxygen is there, the compound so formed will be having a very high offensive smell. At the same time, the water will be contaminated so badly. Okay, so these are some of the compounds which are formed as a result of the insufficient oxygen intake. Okay, so carbon, methane, sulfur to hydrogen sulfide, which has got the smell of rotten eggs. Nitrogen will be converted to amines NH2, that is will be having a fishy smell. Then phosphorus, it will be converted to phosphines, it is having a wormy odor. So thus we can say that this water will be polluted, and as a result of this sewage and oxygen demanding waste, what happens, the water will be having an offensive odor, and at the same time oxygen will be depleted, isn't it? See, for all this process oxygen is necessary. So while taking oxygen for this process, the total amount of oxygen present in that water body, it will be decreasing gradually, isn't it? The oxygen will be taking for such oxidation process, so the oxygen content present in the water bodies, it will be decreasing as time goes on. Okay, so these are the two different sources of water pollution, that is sewage and oxygen demanding waste. Okay, so you have to study the sources of water pollution. So the first point on the sources of water pollution, that is the sewage and other oxygen demanding waste. So this much points will be coming. You have to mention the dissolved oxygen, then the water quality parameter, and also the optimal value of dissolved oxygen, then how it works, dissolved oxygen, and how the bacterial action takes place. All this you have to write down in your the points you have to take down in your notebooks also. Okay, so then the second one, that is the second source of water pollution, that is the infectious agents present in the water bodies. Okay, second one, infectious agents. Infectious agents. See here, usually this water, sometimes it becomes a carrier. It will be acting as a carrier for the pathogens. What do you mean by pathogens? Pathogens means it will be the disease causing microorganisms, isn't it? Pathogens are called as the disease causing microorganisms. So sometimes these water bodies will be acting as a carrier for the pathogens or the disease causing microorganisms, and usually as a result of these pathogens, if the water body has got some pathogens, then some diseases as a result of this, typhoid, then dysentery, cholera, then polio. So many diseases will be occurring as a result of the pathogens present in the water bodies. And also how these pathogens will be coming in the water bodies. Normally it will be, sometimes it may be from the sewage or the drainage system from the municipalities, isn't it? It will be carrying so many microorganisms, and that will be growing as pathogens. Municipalities. Okay, so the sewage from the municipalities, it will be containing all these harmful microorganisms, that is called as the pathogens or the disease causing microorganisms. And also this may sometimes carries the microorganisms, that is the for affected persons. From the affected persons itself, these bacteria will be entering into the sewage. So that is one point. And also then the next one, the third source of water pollution, that is the plant nutrients. Plant nutrients. See, usually you all know we will be putting some fertilizers for our plants, isn't it? And also these fertilizers, it will be a mixture of NPK. Have you heard of NPK mixture? That is nitrogen. NPK mixture means it is a fertilizer, that is nitrogen. Then P means phosphorus. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. K means potassium. Okay. N for nitrogen, then P for phosphorus, then K for potassium. POTASSIUM. Okay, so NPK mixture normally it is used as a fertilizer. So what happens is that while we are giving fertilizers to plants, this will be stimulating the growth of the plants, isn't it? And also at the same time, these fertilizers, it will be draining, while this will be draining to the nearby water bodies. While rain etc occurs, what happens, these fertilizers will be moving to the water bodies. So what happens, the water bodies will be getting these fertilizers, or the water bodies will be having an intake of this NPK, isn't it? They will be getting these nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc. These plant nutrients. See, these are all plant nutrients, NPK mixtures. So this, as a result of these NPK mixtures in the water bodies, what happens? It will be helping the growth of the aquatic plants. Okay, just like algae, weeds, etc. So this will be encouraging the growth of the aquatic plants present in that particular water bodies, that is algae, then weeds, etc. So this will be growing so fast. So as a result, what happens, these algae, weeds, etc., it will be growing so fast, and then this will be causing the depletion or the decrease in the level of oxygen, depletion of oxygen in that particular water body. Okay, so this is how plant nutrients will be indirectly affecting this water body. So this is another cause of water pollution, plant nutrients, or the fertilizers that we are applying to the plants. So if over fertilization is there, it will be reaching the water bodies through rain or other means, and then it will be encouraging the plants, aquatic plants present in the growth of the aquatic plants present in that particular water body, and as a result it will be leading to the depletion of oxygen in that particular water body. Okay, and also see here, suppose this one term is there, sometimes you have heard of this eutrophication. Eutrophication means, the term eutrophication, it is very important. Eutrophication means it is the enrichment of water with nutrients. Enrichment of water with nutrients, that is called as eutrophication. So here, as a result of this eutrophication, what happens, excess of this aquatic plants will be growing. Excess aquatic plants will be growing in the water bodies, and as a result, gradually these aquatic plants will be decaying after its lifespan, isn't it? Then it will be this will be decaying, and it leads to depletion of oxygen in that particular water body. It leads to depletion of oxygen, and then as a result, what happens, these water bodies will remain dead, or that leads to the natural aging of lakes. Gradually the oxygen level will be depleted, and it will be leading to the natural aging of lakes. Natural aging means it is the death of that particular water body. Ultimately we can say that the death of that particular water body. And as a result of this natural aging of water body, sometimes you had seen swamps and marshes, isn't it? ചതുപ്പ് നിലങ്ങൾ അല്ലേ? So swamps and marshes will be formed as a result of this natural aging of lakes. So thus leading to the death of a water body, or the death of a lake, or the death of a river. So this use of fertilizers, it should be very careful while we are applying to plants. That is the major disaster of this plant nutrients is that it will be leading to eutrophication. Eutrophication means the enrichment of water bodies with nutrients. It will be, see, if excess nutrients are there, the aquatic weeds as well as the algae etc. will be growing so fast, and as a result the depletion of oxygen will be taking place, leading to natural aging of lakes, and as a result these lakes will be converting to swamps and marshes. It will be converted to swamps. Okay, so this natural aging process, it will be taking so many years. It will be taking millions of years. Okay, so this is another reason. This plant nutrients is another reason for the source of water pollution. Okay, then the next is agricultural pollution, that we can see in our next session.